All right, welcome back from the break. You're still watching Africa's Finest Breakfast Show, Global Morning on Global Television. It's now time for us to look into the second discourse of the day. We're looking at corruption in the military as an incentive for insecurity. And we'll be talking with Prince Kevin Fineface, a public good advocate, a security expert, and energy consultant also to help us look at this very interesting talking point. Good morning, Kevin Fineface. Nice to have you join us on the program.
Good morning, Tony. How are you?
We're doing great. All right.
Good morning to Nigerians.
All right, so the Nigerian Navy has debunked reports that the Chief of Naval Staff, Rear Admiral Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, accepted $170 million in bribes and was involved in multi-billion naira contract splitting fraud in the last 6 months since he took office. Looking at this, we had the spokesperson of the Nigerian Navy, Rear Admiral Ayo Von, coming out to say that is not true, it's untenable, and it's just perpetrated by the oil thieves who are trying to discredit the Nigerian Navy. For you, do you think there should be an investigation before the Navy debunks such very damning allegation?
He who comes to epic, he must come with, because there's no way you can lay allegations without, presenting evidences. And so for the Navy to come out to debunk that, they also need to be able to tell why it's not possible on one hand. But those who have, put that information to the public need to be able to give Nigerians more information. At least we do not make serious allegations. Now there is a possibility. There's a possibility for distractors to be able to put that information in order to discredit the Chief of Naval Staff and the guys that it probably is doing the right thing. Because Nigeria is one country where when you decide to do the right thing, then allegations comes in. If there are no allegations, they can set you up. If they don't set you up, they can intimidate you, or in some cases even take steps to even annihilate you. We saw that when Okonjo-Iweala was trying to put these subsidy thieves out of business, and her mother was kidnapped. And the kidnappers demanded that she stop, her moves in trying to stop the subsidy thieves. So there's what I call the cobweb relationship that happens in Nigeria. The way crime and its related activities are going on in the country, it has not become more like an innate behavior. So you find even little children acting like the adults because by their default DNA, they have those things running in their bloodstreams. They don't get to learn it from anywhere. I just saw a video going on social media of 3 little kids fighting because of 250 naira. Somebody had given them 250 naira, and one of them took 150 naira, and asked, he wanted to share 150 naira to the rest too. What does that tell you? Where did he learn it from? It's an innate behavior now. So we need to look at ourselves and begin to unlearn certain things and ensure that our value system gets up to that level where we can get value. It's very easy to know if the Chief of Naval Staff is actually involved in such amount of money. I mean, the money is huge. If you look at it, it's so huge. But it's also very possible for him to be involved. We're looking at what Nigeria is and how criminality takes place in the Niger Delta region. The way the oil theft is going on in the Niger Delta region is very possible. Because as we speak, as much as NNPC comes up with the numbers they come up with, and there's improvement in our oil per barrel per day, about 1.5, you realize that what is being stolen is almost about 30 to 40% of that. I can tell you for facts. I'm from Kola. Kola is actually at the back of Bonny. It's in River State. And I can tell you from my region, we have like 3-4 stations in that environment. And there are other communities outside of that environment also have their own oil wells. We have an oil well. I can tell you for free the amount of bumping that goes on in that environment is alarming, and it's oftentimes in cahoots with the military or the Navy. I mean, it's crazy. It's like me exposing something which is supposed to be, but unfortunately, after I expose, nothing happens. Rather, you become a victim. If I get back home now, if you're not careful, some guys will come and attack me for saying what I've just said. But I don't give a damn about that. So it's possible for that to happen. It's also not very possible for that to happen.
No, but
so for them to come out to debunk it, well, it's trying to say, what they should actually do is first to like, okay, this is an application, this is weighty. They don't need to wait for Nigeria don't need to wait for the Navy to investigate. EFCC that is in charge of economic crimes can also investigate. DSS can also investigate, that is in charge of state security, can also investigate. But if the oil hand is stained, if a finger is stained in the palm, the whole hand is stained. That's what it is.
All right. Judging from where you come from, you have just alluded to the fact that sometimes the military collide with these oil thieves. Let's look at the fact that the amount that was mentioned, they were specific on the amount, and they also did say involved in multi-billion naira contract splitting fraud. For you, are you worried that rather than investigate first, they have come to deny it? And what should be the way forward right now as it is? Because we've got...
Well, the denial is not necessarily like denial. They made a statement. They stated why it's not possible. I think what can be done is simply for those who have the information, come up with evidences. Yes, here's the thing with this country, Nigeria. If you bring in evidence, overwhelming evidence, there's some sort of way to downplay it. Let's take a look at the case of Betty Gates, the Edu Gate issue.
Okay.
Immediately she was called out, and it took the presidency some time for the to set up. What happened was, I was seeing documents flying around where Benjamin Mela had given approval, the president's approval for 3 billion to be spent on verification exercise, 3 billion of COVID funds taken for it. You tell me, we have the DSS, we have the police, both agencies have what they call the vetting departments that can verify any data from anywhere in the world. They have the capacity. In fact, the DSS oftentimes are responsible with verifying ministers and all of those things. So anybody you want to know if that person's identity is authentic, the DSS can do that. They are deployed in 774 local governments. They are in every nook and cranny of this country. So it means they have the capacity to verify any data. Why wasn't the DSS contacted to verify the names on the register? Why would they spend 400 and something million to do that? So how much is it pay per head? So if you notice, it's because of the corruption, the financial misappropriation and embezzlement. Now what happens? Today the case is already dying, isn't it? The EFCC invited her for photo ops. She was not taken to court. There were none of them, nobody has been charged. They did that just to pacify the public's sentiment, to say, look, we're making steps to do that, but nothing is going to come out because there's a cobweb of relationship of corruption. So in this case now, the figure that has been mentioned is huge, no doubt about it. The Navy should at least investigate. There are channels of investigation. The secretary to the state government's office, the federal government is government of federation. His office is supposed to also have been interested. To point out that the EFCC is supposed to be interested. They don't need to wait. If there's a spurious allegation, then let's find those who have done this spurious allegation and arrest them for false information and abuse of the media. But if you don't arrest those who are alleged, and you don't come up with proof of not being part of it, then it means that something is actually cooking that we all should be interested in.
All right. You talked about the Betty Eduza gate. Are you also concerned that Bajabia Miller, the Minister of Interior, was also being investigated without suspended from office?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that shows, if it was implicated, he should also have that suspension. Two, as a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, there are procedures. A panel of inquiry would have been set up. Administrative panel of inquiry rather would have been set up to look at both cases and seek culpability. Then the relevant sanctions would have been meted out to both. Then even with Bajabia Mela, yes, he's the chief of staff. Yes, he has the prerogative to give approval on the president's internal communication. So if that document that was flying on social media was true from his office as alleged, then they need to explain to us how they have put such amount of money for that without going through the National Assembly. Is that a breach of the Constitution for such amount of money to be spent, to be approved and be spent without due process, without procurement procedures? Because we have a procurement law. Did they breach the procurement law? If it is yes, so who is being punished for it? So these are questions that the media need to be asking, calling the authority to question so as to be able to get the right thing. The case has happened. They know Nigerians will only be like hot potato saying after everything everybody goes back. It's like the duck's experience. The kite have taken the duckling, and after the first initial gra, no, it was like the end experience. The kite have taken the end of the chick of the end after the initial gra. Again after that time. So we all find ourselves in that kind of situation. But I also put it on the part of the media. The media is one powerhouse that is supposed to be holding government to account and also informing the general public. But the media is actually failing in our own responsibilities, and I can understand why. The reason is not far-fetched. The ability to sustain your media house requires that you need government patronage. And for you to get government patronage means that you must not say everything that you have about government. You must always at least report a few things, keep some under the guise of national security. So everybody is, eating from the potpourri. It's like the Chichidoro experience in the Ayeku Amber book, The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born. The Chichidoro says it doesn't eat physics from, but eat maggot from physics. So everybody is eating maggot from physics. And we all claim not to be eating physics, if you excuse my French. So that's the situation we are in now. So Better's case, as you said it, I'm worried that the Minister of Interior was not suspended. It goes about his duty. He said he was no longer signatory to the account of the company, but it belongs to him. He was no longer signatory. We'll have to investigate to know when he became, when he stopped becoming a signatory to the account. If it was when he became a minister or before he became a minister, we need to check that. Was it after this revelation that he stopped being a signatory to the account? That be investigated by the media. They need to know, because the date of his resignation from the company would have been dictated to CAC, to the banks.
All right.
If it was the director of the company, then he has no business being a minister.
All right. Let's return back to the chief of naval staff, the person of Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala. The question is, Titan security outfit who meant to secure the pipelines in the Niger Delta had on one occasion, Tompolo specifically, had accused the Nigerian Navy of trying to paint them bad by insinuating that they collaborated with some of these oil thieves to steal the crude oil, and in turn they accused the Nigerian Navy of also having hands in some of these nefarious activities. Do you think this is part of what is playing out with this? And if the security firm that was supposed to guard the pipelines in Niger Delta is already having beef with the Nigerian Navy, do you think there's something amiss?
Anthony, there's nothing that is amiss. What you have both parties confessing in the public is true. The Cantita Security Company in the first place has no business securing our pipelines when you have the Nigerian Navy and other security agencies. But because of corruption, the guys is that let's give the yam to the goats. Probably will not eat from it. It's not possible. These guys have access to the creeks, they have access to the pipelines. And so what they basically have been doing is that they report some and steal some. Likewise, the Navy, I make bold to state this. The military in the riverine area have been culpable. I can tell you from Foropa to Kola, you have Auto Bunny, you have pipelines connected at different locations for crude and for gas. The military that guides areas that goes to provide security, some of them have been major bunkers. They're involved in the bunkering. Either be it diesel bunkering, be it crude oil bunkering, be it other form of bunkering within that Nigeria region. So if you want to know, let me give you this. If there's any basically viewers, listen to me now. Let's begin to look at the accounts and the lifestyle of these officers and men that have been posted to this region over the years. I'll give you just 20 years posting. You go check their lifestyles, check their accounts, and you will get to see that they are living far above their means because of this money they get from the sea or from that region. They have all been involved. I traveled to my community recently, my kingdom recently, and something had happened. There was a boat mishap that happened involving a boat loaded with crude oil and some other boys who went for it. Was basically the fact that this crude oil was being transshipped to a bigger vessel up in the sea. Our waterways are not supposed to be guided by the Nigerian Navy. So you now tell me how come you have a ship better somewhere in the sea and at the Nigerian Navy, and in my region the Nigerian Army is also involved. They have the amphibious brigade that is involved in guiding and protecting our national assets. You have sometimes the civil defense, you have the police, the marine police, the civil defense all appear, on the waterways to, in quotes, providing security, but they're not providing security. They are basically there to make money. So this thing is going on in that environment. So what you're hearing these two groups saying, they're not out of place. They are basically doing the same thing. They are, some of them, not all of them, some of them amongst them are pure thieves, national thieves. They are pure national thieves who are stealing from our national wealth, our common wealth. The private security company has no business. It shows the weakness of our national security. What the government needed to do, if you want to get these boys, because they have knowledge of the environment, is to employ them into the Nigerian Navy or Nigerian Army after proper vetting and engage them to carry out the assignments. Why will you give a contract to a private security company? In the first place, it's not even a private security company. These are militants, boys who have been given some form of amnesty. So which means they are enemies of state that have been granted amnesty, so you have to look for a way to get them back into the society. And in so doing, you're not going to do that in that brazen form at the detriment of the community of the people and making everybody who have been doing right to look foolish. What the government has done is to make civil, obedient citizens to look foolish. So what everybody is now doing now is to carry up arms within our region so as to be recognized by government and be given contracts. So if you go to the Niger Delta belt now, there are pockets of security, in quotes, providers, non-state actors with heavy arms that are providing security to the oil company. They must give them the job or else they will cause problems.
All right, thank you very much.
So I can tell you more. Do you understand?
Okay.
It's required for investigation. They should go to it. Government should stop the contracts with the private security companies. Asari Dokubo is there, University doing his own thing. Topology is there doing his own thing. He has become a state of his own. Same thing with this, and these are all criminals. Some of them have been made kings. They've been made monarchs. It's absurd. It's preposterous to even think that people who have carried out against the state and have been given such kind of recognition. Some of them are National Assembly members. Some are State Assembly members. What are we teaching the next generation? Why is it that our value system is being so eroded and we're not saying anything about it? We should be crying to our, it's so bad, and ensuring that this doesn't continue. So they should stop the contract. They empower the military, pay them the rights remuneration and welfare system. If not, give them the right answer, give them the right answer and allowances, and monitor them properly. You get the best of it.
All right, thank you very much. Always a pleasure talking to you, Prince Kelvin Fineface. Thank you for your very deep analysis and information as regards what's playing out as we look at the issues plaguing us in terms of insecurity and corruption in the military. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
My pleasure.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so alleged corruption incentive for insecurity is the topic we looked at, and we talked with one of Nigeria's renowned security experts and also public good advocate in the person of Prince Kevin Fineface, giving us deep revelations as regards what's playing out in the Niger Delta, and also the issue of the chief of naval staff being accused of, being involved in bribes of in the tune of $170 million, and also involving multi-billion naira contract splitting fraud, which the Navy has quickly come to denounce. But like Prince Kevin Fineface said, it's time for the Navy to actually do their own investigation before coming out to deny such weighty allegations. And the anti-graft agencies, we also expect that they will do the needful, investigate before they give a clean bill of health to the Chief of Naval Staff in the person of Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala. All right, that's how we're going to call it a wrap on this discourse this morning. And we've got more to come in the rest of the day. We urge you to keep your fingers crossed to go for a very quick break, and when we come back, we'll be wrapping up the program. Stay with us. All right, so it's time for us to say our goodbyes. It's been amazing this morning, talking lots of very important issues plaguing Africa's biggest black nation, from the fact that the federal government says they're ready to talk to Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, talking about ECOWAS, to the issue of the SSG of Professor Chidebere Onya of Enugu State, saying the prescription of scavengers in that state, and also very worrying reports telling us 1,872 persons have been kidnapped in 8 months, and as much as 2,423 people killed in 8 months.
That's
very disturbing.
Very disturbing. And we're talking about the Chief of Naval Staff, of course, debunking that issue of $170 million allegation against the Chief of Naval Staff. And that's how we wrap it up on the program Global Morning today. Join us. Join our next host tomorrow on Wednesday. Of course, Queen and of course we will be here to anchor the program Global Morning tomorrow. Of course, John Anthony and I on Friday will be here, right?
Yeah, I didn't know today was Tuesday. So much fun on Global Morning. I was hoping to.
I thought it was just numbers.
I thought tomorrow was Wednesday. That's true. Mix up. So much fun being with you, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And We hope the security agencies, the anti-graft agencies will get down to work and get their job done so that we can safeguard Nigeria.
Yes, and of course, like I said, just keep watching Global Morning on Global Television on channel 276
yeah.
on Star Times. And I am Jumai Manson and my co-host
Anthony Momodu. Good
Bye-bye.
morning.